When I do something, my wife tells me I should split up with her. I told them okay and left. I'm with my sister at the moment. We've been married for 4 years and together for 5. We knew each other for a long time. We have a child together, who is 4 years old. I make most of the family's money since she is a psalm. She picked not to go back to work. For the past year and a half, we've fought about once or twice a month. I do help out with our kid, just so you know. I use both of them to clean, cook, and do other things. When she first told me she wanted a divorce, we fought. Funny enough, her sister had called to ask if she could stay with us for a while, because she was having bad luck with her relationship. She could, I told her. My wife was mad about that. I told her that her friends had not done any work around the house during their 5-week stay with us a few months before. She was there too. There was nothing to say. She was new to both my daughter and me. My sister is pretty, and she gets along great with our daughter. I believed my spouse felt the same way. We had her stay with us for a week and she cooked, cleaned, and watched our daughter when we needed her to. I thought we were done with the past and moved on. The fights are usually over small things, and I don't start 90% of them. I asked her about it, but she always said she or we didn't need it. It happened to me last night. She was mad at me for working too much. She told me she feels alone and that I'm not a good dad. Then she said, I want a divorce. I told her the only reason I work so much is because she spends all of my time editing. I used our money when we fought. It turned out to be my money by mistake when I typed it. We decided to pay our bills, save money for the future, buy things we don't need or use, and have fun with the money. To help her out, she wouldn't work or go to school. I look after my family. For my daughter, I'm there for her at all of her big events, parties, doctor's appointments, and anything else she needs. It wasn't something she wanted to do to get help. I no longer want this. When she's done writing the papers, my lawyer will send them to her. I bought things for my daughter and gave them to my sisters with her. She's been calling and texting over and over to say she's sorry for 2 days now. She wasn't being serious. It's important for her to talk to and see a doctor. I must assist her. That kind of thing? I'm lost. I love her. She is a wonderful mom. But I can't do this anymore. Guys and girls on the internet, please help. I do have a lawyer, yes, for my family and work. She's been my friend since I was a child. Hey everyone. This isn't good news though. Many months ago, I wrote about how my wife always said she would leave me, until I went to get my kid and left. I wrote this to let off steam. In my bio, you can see the first one. Some people have asked me to talk about a message I got on my August post, so I'll do that. Some things were missed or not given enough attention, and I want to bring them up. I would do everything again, even take my kid. She needs to do something, like get a job, start a hobby, make new friends, etc. I told her wife, asked about getting some help. What I told her she wouldn't hear or think about. That's what she said, or she wasn't the problem. My child comes first. We never fight in front of or near my wife. As a child, I didn't have a good home life. I remember when my dad was mad at my mom. Because my mom left, my dad yelled at me. I never want that for her. I have no idea what my wife was going to do that night. No one has to get help. They have to want it. Want it a lot. You have to make people change in order for it to look like they did. This is my fault. I can't let my daughter think this is okay as she grows up though. That is, this is how partnerships should go. As a child, I swore I would never be like my dad. Okay, following my post, I thought about several things. I wanted her to understand how serious I was. I told her I couldn't do this anymore when we got to a table. The fights and fears of divorce need to stop. She agreed, but she said she wouldn't say it. I told her the next time it would be thrown away for good. We agreed to go to therapy together. It helped me see. We talked about our feelings and said things that helped us see things from each other's points of view. I thought things were getting better after a few talks. There was more work for her to do. She looked for work and found one. She made friends and found something she liked to do. Before we got into a fight, she forgot about plans she had made with her new coworkers, and she couldn't change our plans for our daughter. I thought the fight was over when she said under her breath, I knew marrying you was a mistake. I looked at her, and the most vivid memory I have is that I didn't know the woman standing there. I thought she looked different. The woman in front of me was unknown to me. I asked her to say it again. She told him, "I should have broken up with you years ago. I left with my daughter to go to the plans by ourselves." To end it all, I filed for a legal split. We both signed forms that said we are still married even though we don't live together and won't be seeing anyone else during this time. While the money will be split, the bills will stay split the same way they are now. My job would still cover my healthcare costs. It said, among other things, that both one-on-one and pair therapy meetings would happen as planned. I would move in with my sister and our 70-year-old daughter, and my 30-year-old sister would share her. When I had my daughter, I asked my wife to take her. I told her a week ahead of time, and she agreed. It was 7:30 in the morning when I dropped her off at home. There was an odd car in the driveway. I thought she had a friend over when I first saw her. To be polite, I ring the bell, even though it feels weird to do so on my own doorbell. A 20-year-old man without a shirt opens the door and asks who I am and what I want. My daughter and I wait. When he says, "My wife," she comes around the corner in a robe. Her face goes from shocked to sad to shocked again. As you might guess, the official split will end in 3 months. I want a court order to end our marriage. My girl is safe, thank you. Besides the fact that her folks don't like her, she has no idea what's going on. I've already said that she is my main worry. I guess I did the one thing I didn't want to do, what I promised myself I would never do. Still, I think it could be better. I end up being just like them. I don't know what a good match looks like. I want to raise my daughter well and show her how much I love her. Thank you for all your love, words, help, and feedback. Let's read the next story. The second story. Is it unreasonable for me to expect my sister to keep the parenting deal we made? This place has a lot of history. My sister Lily, F35. Emma, my niece, got her F9 when she was 26 years old. She was living with my parents at the time with her boyfriend. They were both done with drug rehab, so they were good to go. She and her boyfriend smoked pot together all the time, and she did drugs while she was pregnant. She begged me to take care of Emma for 2 months while she went back to rehab to clean up. Emma was almost 2 months old at the time. I lived in a small room while I was in law school when I was 22 years old. Their answer was that they couldn't care for a baby and suggested that my sister go to foster care. I took my niece in. My sister went back to dating her drug-using boyfriend after she got out of rehab. Because of this, one of them would get clean every 5 years, and then the other would drag them back down. Emma was legally my child, but that was only going to be for a short time. If both of them passed a drug test, which they never did, I agreed to take Lily back every time she asked. When Emma was almost 6 years old, my sister called to tell me she was giving birth again. After that, she changed, and after almost 8 months of not using drugs, she had my cousin. She moved back in with her parents after living with me, which must have been hard for both of us. Emma stays with her parents during the week, but I get to have her every weekend. In court, we came to an understanding about who would be the parent. We all went to family treatment together for the first year. We stopped going after we got used to it. My sister is now married to her ex-boyfriend and is pregnant again. They don't want Alma to come with me on the weekends because she gets cranky when she gets home. Yes, I fully understand what's going on. My sister and I talked about how hard it must be for Emma to have to compete with her brother for her mom's attention when she's not pregnant. She is the center of attention when she is with me. That way, my sister could have some time off, and I could watch my nephew on the weekends. Alternatively, we could go back to family therapy to help Emma deal with these changes. It was really my sister who told me that Emma was going to take a break from being with me. She could stay with Emma for 2 weekends, but when she wouldn't talk to me, I threatened to go to court. We made a deal about who would care for Emma, and I am still one of her legal guardians. She told me I made fun of her past and wouldn't let her be a real mom to Emma. Emma is almost 6 years old now, and I love every moment I spend with her. This makes me feel torn. But am I getting in the way? Emma calls me every night to ask what we're doing on the weekend and why I don't have time for her. My sister also sounds like she thinks I don't want her to come. I only want what's best for Emma, so what should I do? If you want to clear things up, change it. She is 9 years old now, and my sister hasn't used drugs in over 3 years. We took a very long time to move Emma. They spent 2 weekends a month with her for a year. We switched places after that. And now I get weekends. If someone says I make it hard for them to spend the weekends with their families, I have always been open. If they told me they had plans, they could take Emma. They don't want me to do things with Emma, not because they want to do things with Emma. On Saturday and Sunday, they send her brother to stay with my parents so they can take it easy. I don't see why it would be any different if I took Emma. They've sent her to stay with her grandparents for the past 2 weekends. My sister takes care of her kids and doesn't work. Since she doesn't work, they spend a lot of time together. She doesn't leave the house very often and weighs almost 300 pounds. It looks like a storm hit all the time. They bought Emma a house when she was 3 years old so that she could get back in charge. My Bill has a job in it, so they can make ends meet. Emma and I see each other every week for karate, swimming, and Girl Scouts. I always check on her to make sure she is okay. 2 times in the last 3 years, my Bill has gone back on drugs. He was kicked out of the house both times, so Emma didn't have to see anything. Some people say Emma watches their kids, but I don't believe them. I give her lots of things to do because I believe it is good for her to be busy and leave the house. My sister stays home a lot. Also, they recently paid her $20 to watch her brother, who is 3 years old, for 2 hours. This made her very happy. It scared me a lot what people said about what might be going on with Emma at home. I called Emma's old therapist and made an appointment for Friday after school. She can always talk to her therapist by herself first, and then I come in and we talk together. She knows I want her and have time for her all the time. I'm also going to ask her if she likes living with her parents or would rather spend less time there. Thanks for your help, and I hope everything goes well. Good ideas. How things went during the change, they could never get through to us. They had her every other weekend for almost a year before we moved her to a new place. Since I'm a lawyer, I know all the rules and everyone who works in the office. That's why I'm sure I could get custody back. What if I believe she wasn't safe? That might not be the right thing to do. That's clear. She sees me as a mom. But my sister is trying so hard to be the best mom she can be because she feels bad about not being there. It's tough to see the forest through the trees. They slowly got weekends for the first year. For the next almost a year, we split the time in half, and now I've had weekends for almost a year. In terms of how Emma acts, things were going well until my sister got pregnant again. She called my sister mom for the first time, and she loved having a little brother. I pay for her to go to the private school where she went for preschool and kindergarten. With her steady teachers and friends, she did really well there. When she got home from the weekend, she started to spend the first 2 or 3 days of the week with me instead of her parents. My sister thought Emma was following the rules at that point, and then it was my weekend. The loop went on forever. My sister told me straight out that she wants to be like me. She likes how close I am to Emma and thinks I can give Emma a lot of things she can't. You know what? I do spoil her because she's my girl and I want to give her everything. They tell her to do things like put away the iPad and do the dishes, but I think she doesn't listen. It's hard because our ties aren't the same. There are things we do on the weekends, so I don't let her watch TV or movies until right after dinner. Because I have a machine, she only needs to put her dishes away. Not being able to talk to her has never bothered me. I feel bad that Emma called me mom. She called me mom for the first 3 years of her life. Emma passed out when she called my mom when my sister came to visit. Emma yelled and cried, and she asked me how. I could have let her think I was her mom. She was scared and confused, and when my parents found out, they told her to call me something else. Anything else. There isn't a majority bot, but it looks like most people have an NT of you on ADA. Hey, a lot of people have asked me what's going on, but the last month has been crazy. To sum up, my sister gave birth, and now I have 3 kids. Emma told me that Lily had been making her think a lot while we were in emergency treatment together. She had to beg me to take her as a baby because my sister told her I had never wanted her and would give her back as soon as I could. I really like my sister, but at first I didn't want to take my niece in. I moved into a small room in Flatbrook after my first year of law school. It scared me to think about having to care for a baby while I was in school, even for a short time. I had no idea how to do it. I got a lot of help from the government and my parents. I still loved her and wanted to give her back though. I always tried to do what I thought was best for her. Based on parental alienation, and the fact that my sister was using marijuana, which was against the law for her to have, I asked for an emergency custody order after treatment. My state doesn't allow it, and she doesn't have a prescription, so I asked for a drug test and a home visit, telling them how bad the house was. I said the house was a mess, but things got so bad that they were dangerous to health and caused people to hoard. The police picked me up right away and then went to my sister's house on Monday to get her. I was sure this would happen. In my last post, I said I was sure I could get back custody of my kids because I knew she smoked pot. I didn't think it was a problem, just so you know. It helps her get rid of headaches, but if I had to, I wasn't against making it into a weapon. Things went wrong out of the blue this time though. Some people said it was clear in the last post that I don't like my sister. I don't. I love her, and I believe that she has many issues because she is too open and hangs out with bad people. But I want to be clear, I hate my bill. When CPS arrived, they saw that my tenant had been growing pot and psychedelic mushrooms in the basement. Pot and other drugs were found in both of them when they were checked for drugs. It's likely that the fentanyl was mixed with what they were using. Right away, they took my cousin away and asked me to take him. They were both arrested because of my Bill's yard work in the I don't remember seeing it. I knew she was sad and using, but there were no signs that she would start using again. I'm really sorry I lied to you. I got used to having 2 kids pretty quickly, but I knew she was going to have another one soon. I made a deal with my pregnant sister while I was in jail. I gave her a lawyer and paid her bail in exchange for giving up all parenting rights to all 3 kids. This was her best chance of staying out of jail. It made me sad that I had to pay his bill and his lawyer's fees too. She gave birth a week ago. She didn't have to do that in jail, thank goodness. Also, I'm glad my second nephew seems to be healthy, even though she drinks and does drugs. I am in charge of Emma and both of her boys. Adoption is not the same as guardianship, and I am now in the process of filing for it. Because both parents gave up their rights, I'm sure I can win. That's what I should do because I don't want to have to wait for her to clean up before I can get the kids back. It also proves I don't trust her. I don't want to share parenting duties with someone who lies and cheats like she did. Emma is great, I've never seen her so happy. The baby and I are also doing well, even though some nights we haven't been able to sleep. The person I think about most is Ian, my nephew who is 3 years old. He's having a good time so far, but I don't think it's hit him yet that this will last. There is no question that we will treat the whole family. I think I've covered everything. Thanks to everyone who helped me figure out that Emma wasn't okay. I don't want to think about what might have happened if you weren't there. It doesn't seem likely. Being sure she couldn't get pregnant is why she didn't use birth control. That's how she got Emma in the first place. One of her ovaries had to be taken out. When she was a girl, she was told by the doctor that she had almost no chance of getting pregnant again. Because Emmy was born backward, my sister had to have a C-section. She had one with each of her other 2 kids too. The doctor told me that there were issues with the birth of my most recent nephew. She has many scars and only 1 ovary, so it's not likely that she will have any more children. It's possible that she could have another child. There aren't many chances of that happening right now, and I have other things to take care of. Good ideas. Do you want to know more about law school? I graduated from law school almost 7 years ago. I worked as a helper when I first graduated from law school. As of now, I only do felony defense work, but I also do some family law work. My name is X and I was born and raised in Europe. I now live in the United States and am getting a business license in international law. It would be great if I could work as an attorney for a global company and travel for work. I will have to think about the kids when I look for a new job. As a child, I was always on the go, so I never got to put down roots. I love finding out about new places. Has your family said anything? We're taking a break from each other. When I asked for emergency custody, my parents were very angry, and we both said some mean things. They were right. The family of my sister seemed to have everything under control, and my parents thought I was trying to make things worse. I believe things were different after everything was over. In the past, they have always helped my sister get out of problems. Since they haven't reached out yet, I'd rather wait a little while longer. There's something I don't want to say because I'm tired and stressed out right now.